Make sure it's actually got the right thing selected. Perfect. Good. Hello.
Hello.
Perfect. Stream manager. Can I get you to sing like a bit of a me mo 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 mo? Perfect. Alrighty. That's looking good, my friend. So, I'm going to go in soon. But remember, if we hit a no-no zone, you tell me. Okay?
Yep, we're good.
Yeah, you point on the heart, on the little dummy where the mod touched you. Okay. So, in about 3 seconds, I'll switch over, and then we'll start chatting.
Drop them. How undignified.
I love Sean McAuliffe. Alright, so it's time to drop them. We're going to debrief Strahd here. So it's exciting time. With me tonight, I've got Dan. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Hey. Good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Together in-game, together out-of-game. It's the two boys rocking your set like Russian roulette. So, what we're going to be doing in this session is less what we're doing with it. Sven will talk in gameplay, as in like why he chose the campaign. For us, we just volunteered for the campaign. So I can ask you the question, why Strahd? Have you been looking forward to Strahd, or have you played Strahd before?
I'm on the other end, which it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to like ensure my impartiality. But I've actually DM'd Strahd before.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I have not picked up on anything.
And loved it, and it's amazing. But it's also one of those, like, when Sven comes out and says it's one of those, like, true sandboxes, it really is in terms of player choice and decision. And also there's a lot of, like, little intricacies that you can add or subtract or change and modify as a DM.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, like, if this was, say, Lost Mines, and I've played that before, and I wouldn't put my hand up for it because it's pretty, like, it doesn't change. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The best DM in the world is going to give you a pretty similar experience to the worst. Whereas Strahd, it's so, like, you can influence it so much, and also, again with those character choices.
Yeah.
So, although I know, the crux of what's kind of happening, it will change, and I will be constantly surprised, based on the story, but also based on Sven's skill.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And already have, like, it's already, like, if I went in there, like, with, like, like, cool, I'm going to get this, like, full, like, meta advantage, I'm already at a fault because he's already done things differently to, as per written, and it's working really, really well.
I will warn you that I just saw that Sven is in chat. So if you're like me and you're going to say something about him, like he's a big stinky butthole, make sure you say it with love so he hears the love in your voice.
Right, yeah. The stinkiest of the buttholes he is.
Stinkiest of the buttholes. But no, he is doing a fantastic job. I'm with you there. I actually I love the fact when he says something and then he's like, oh, sorry about this. I know we didn't get combat. And I'm like, oh no, like this is my dream campaign. Like not having to do combat. Like at the end of last session, I actually said like the only roll I did was a comedy check. To me, that means my role playing was so good. Sven was like, you don't need to roll for that. Because I did a lot of things that session. And he's just like, you got it, man. You do that thing.
Well, that's the thing, is like, yes, it has been slow, but at no point has it been boring. And that is the key. So it can go as slow as we want, but if it's entertaining, like, yeah, I'm all in. Like, Like that whole like when we stopped and Grace was like looking into the mist, going, "Should I go? Should I stay?" Like
Yeah,
that was like just an absolute boat anchor in terms of
loved it.
story progression. Yet it was such an entertaining part that, I'm all for it. I'm not maybe I'm like not like Fujin, who's just like, "Can we just move along, please?" But
Yeah, like I actually talked about this bit with Sven. I'm going to jump straight to this. Um, we'll talk about the crew before we get into the Ips and A's and buttholes and deep diving. Okay, let's talk about the crew we have. Okay, we've got Christian, who is an amazing DM. One of the best one shots I've ever been in was the Spelljammer one where I got to play a plasmoid, and it was just a great like Murder on the Orient Express type thing with a big finish. My character ended up dying to save everyone. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. That was great. So he's an amazing DM, great player. So very excited. We've got, actually, I will say, we've got Gemma in chat as well. Not only is Gemma amazing at what she does, and she's so caring of the people around her, like as Grace gets into trouble, she's in there and she's always sending her pet along to people to like almost like a what do they call it, like a sensory dog,
yeah.
help us out in chat, people. The dogs that you get to pat and take on planes. Calming nerve dog. But yeah, I love that. Like it's really given Bright Eyes like a whole heap of thing. But Grace, I actually wanted to discuss this with everyone. A sensory dog, that'll do. Grace actually blew me away, and I think she might have baited me into role-playing something. So in the session where she was talking about death, she was saying like, hey, I'm a death cleric. I want everyone to die. I want to die. I'm going to walk into the mist and die. And me, like in Tane's view, deaths, because he told heroic stories, is all about that. A death would be pointless if you just walked in and died, but if you go in to save your friend, a la Fritz, that's a bit more meaningful, and had that conversation. But I thought it was Tane saying it, but I think it was just Mitch, the philosopher inside, going, well, hang on, how can I make Tane say what Mitch is feeling on the inside? So I went in and started like mansplaining how meaning and, you know, a worthy death and all this stuff. And then in the moment, Grace was like, actually, yeah, like if I didn't suffer enough, what's the point of me dying? Maybe I need to suffer more before I can die and earn that. And like as she's saying it, I was like, holy fuck. Grace has just answered what's been going online for the last 4 months since the 2024 rulebook came out, where everyone was like, what do we do with clerics? Because they don't get a subclass an order till they're level 3. Why do they have magic powers in level 1 and 2? Like, they're not praising anyone. And the answer is very simple, and I never heard anyone say it, is that they were a cleric and they were just a shit one that don't really understand the religion yet.
They're the ones who are getting all the spices prepared for their masters to be able to use them in the spells, not they're the errand boys and girls of the clergy.
They're the errand boys and girls that are going out, and then in the 1300s when they went out and did like the big, like, hey, we're going to take over that whole country in the name of our Lord. Those were level 1 and 2 clerics because they didn't really get. And then like later on, they're like, oh shit, probably shouldn't have killed all those people. Maybe that wasn't godly. But yeah, so I really love that, and it was one of those things I still can't work out to this day whether Grace was 6 steps ahead of me and said it knowing that I'd react to it so she could roleplay off it, because that's only happened to me once. I told you I was scared of people with crazy high IQs.
And she was like, I know what I can do with this.
Yeah, it's very, very, very scary. But yeah, so I will say just quickly, while we're on the topic of the crew, at the halftime break of the Curse of Strahd campaign, Beckoned, Blackest Night, we have a section done by the beautiful Pumpkin that talks about the book Dracula. It's the book Dracula, is it? But actually reads through and actually reads it. So I really, really do tell Sven to actually cut that segment out and actually have that as a watchable thing, because it's really cool as well.
Oh, yeah, as a solo, yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Because, have you listened to the third one? The one from last week? It's a little raunchy.
Oh.
Dude,
oh
I was really getting into it, and then Dracula came and cock-blocked me. And I was like, you son of a bitch, Dracula. But no, it's actually really good. And I actually forgot how good those books were, because you start like getting into it and like being like, this is funny. Like, this is, like, it's crazy. It's a very cool story. But yeah, so we have an amazing crew to work with, and we have Sven, who, as we said, is doing very well. But I do want to focus in on you and your relationships with your character. So the first question I've got for you is Human Sorcerer with the 2024 rulebook. Now, you are playing this in a very unique way, which we'll get to later. But was the Human Sorcerer always on the books? Or was there any other races or classes you're looking at and you're tossing up between?
So the class was chosen last. I needed something to fit the backstory.
Yep.
And
so you work from the backstory onwards. I
had a character backstory idea, and as I was fleshing it out, that's where all of this got filled in. So class was last because it was, to me, it was actually the hardest to fit in. But I think I've got where I want it to be. The race, that was actually a little bit of an easier one, with that knowledge of mine from Curse of Strahd, knowing that it's a very heavy human population in Barovia.
Yep.
So I thought just easy human, cut, paste in, done. Like not thinking too much about it, and that's one that I also didn't want to like try to hyper like min max either. Like I just kind of that fits the theme. It's what's where we're going to be. It's not meant to be this like, you know, and we walk down the street with a Loxodon. Like it's meant to be a bit more like, yeah, like not a spicy character.
Let the story do all the work. It's not so much about that.
Yeah. So that's why I went down that pathway.
Loving it. No, that's perfect. Now the way you're playing it is very interesting, because you're playing it as a character that has parents that are heroes. Let me just bring this up. We have your mother, Valeraine. Is it okay for me to say this?
Yeah, all good. Go for it.
Your mother, Valeraine, which means unwavering resilience, who is a light domain cleric. And your father, Edelheart, Irondancer, who is an abjuration wizard. Okay? And you are... Bill. And your power is...
Accounting.
Bill the accountant. So this is what I love. So we've got Bill the accountant. And I actually thought to myself, like, how could we... because I did tie my character to yours, I don't think we should have to do a one-shot to try and get back to... You know, we don't want to have to do a one-shot and then have to, like, flush out our backstory. We don't need to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up to the chat here. I'm going to send you... Now, if you could, I just sent you in the chat a little script I wrote.
Yep.
All right, so I'm imagining this is kind of how it happened. Okay, so you will be reading the parts of Valeraine Irondancer and Edelheart Irondancer, your parents.
Okay.
Do you have the script in front of you?
I do. I'm actually going to make it bigger.
You can make it bigger.
Now that you say that, rather than the little pop up in Discord.
So as you do that, as you do the biggerness and making it bigger, I'm going to set this the scene, okay, if I say something, I'm going to start with a cozy, well-lit home. If you believe your parents would have been in a giant F-off castle because they were rich adventurers that made tons of money, you just go, big castle, and I'll just back up and keep going.
So I think that they were rich adventurers, and I think that they put him through schools and stuff. But I also think that they would have like their retreat cabin in the woods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking.
We can make it a cabin.
In my head, that's what I was thinking. They would have had the castle and then been like, "Oh God, everyone knows we are. Let's go out somewhere into the remoteness so no one finds us." So,
ironically enough, someone finds them.
Yeah. So, scene: a cozy, well-lit home with warm lanterns hanging from the wooden beams. The air smells of herbs and incense. Tane approaches the door and knocks.
Opening the door, squinting at Tane. You must be. Wait, don't tell me. Thomas? Trevor? No. Tane, that's it. I remember it from your many letters. Come in before I forget again.
Stepping inside, eyes wide with admiration, then narrowing in confusion as he takes in their very relaxed state. It's an honor to meet you both. I grew up hearing stories of your adventures. My parents always spoke of your bravery and wisdom.
Edelhart reclining in a chair, rubbing his belly. Bravery, yes. Wisdom, questionable. Ever try outrunning an avalanche on a donkey? Let me tell you, it's not as easy as it sounds. Val gesturing for Tane to sit at the table, throwing a bread roll at Edelhart.
Ow!
Stop crying, the poor lad. Listen, we had our time running into danger, getting cursed, nearly eating by things with too many teeth. But these days, our biggest battle is remembering where we left our tea.
Frowning and sitting down slowly. But you're legends. You fought dragons, toppled warlords. Surely you still have one last adventure in you.
Edelhart waving a hand. Oh, absolutely not. My knees crack so loudly now that they probably scare off a goblin just by standing up too fast. Val sipping tea, nodding sagely. Let's not forget my back. Went to pick up a spoon yesterday and I was out of commission for 3 hours. No, if you want adventure, you'll need fresher legs than ours.
This is not what I expected.
Edelhart's patting Tane's shoulder. Disappointment builds character. But listen, our son William, he could use an adventure. Val smirking. He's got that same fire we once had. Or at least a small manageable spark. But hey, sparks start fires, right?
This is really not what I expected.
Edelhart's laughing heartily. Oh, don't worry. William is something. You'll see. Val grinning, handing Tane another roll. Now, go find him. If he runs away screaming, well, you're in for a great adventure already.
Perfect. And now, what I wanted to say from you, if this is going to be canon, because this is behind the scenes, so Sven cannot touch this wall here. If your parents were to hand Tane, being me, a magic item right now, one that may come into play later, that you could find, like, that could be helpful in your quest, what is a magic item they may give you? Like, if you had to think of one on the spot right now, like, are we thinking like a wizard's hat that'll let you cast all the wizarding cantrips? Or are we thinking like a Bloodwell vial, which is like a sorcerer item?
Let's all, like, I'd be looking down like a sorcerer thing, because that
maybe they already know.
I think they already know. Like, they can see it. They just don't. They're not trying to properly force it. But also, like, I'm thinking like maybe even just something like in a necklace or something along those lines. So it doesn't have to be necessarily like an amulet of health, but like something along those lines where it's a bit more, let the boy choose his pathway, but anyone could do with something like this.
Yeah, I'm quickly scanning. Braces of defense, cloak of protection. A cloak of protection could be good.
Cloak of protection. Like amulet of health's a bit too like OP, so like I wouldn't want to go down that. But like
Also, I think Christian will cry. Maybe it should be an amulet of health, just because Christian said my aim for in session 0. He said my aim for the game would be get one of those. And
this is another one where like this is probably good to loop Sven in to get him to be thinking of this, because there isn't a lot of loot in this campaign, but there is a couple of like really good juicy items. And what this can be a piece of loot that's taken out of the campaign and then placed into your hands as a non-magic item that activates when we would have got the loot anyway. Like it's say a cloak of protection that's just a fancy cloak until we, kill the person X that had the cloak anyway, and then we notice it starts to glimmer and then it becomes a cloak. Yeah, like that sort of thing. Like
I love that. Yeah,
it's it's one of those like because I love the idea of like leveling up items. I think it gets way too hard to do, but like something like like a one-off here or there. Yeah, like, and when there's backstory behind it, like, something like that, I think could be like cool. Whereas like, so like cloak of protection, yeah, great, sounds cool, but like let's let Christian maybe let's spend not Christian because he'll choose something bad for me.
Yeah.
Let's spend like sort of like see what's upcoming and what he's planning, and see if there's anything that we can do with that. That's like a level or two down the track. Where you find it appropriate to, like maybe my parents like you'll know the time when it's right to pass it on. So like that sort of thing.
When it happens, and like honestly, the fact you're saying this, like when you first described your character, this is kind of how I pictured your parents being. Like they know you want to go off and do your own thing, and they're not going to force you to be a hero, but they understand your potential. But they're also not forcing you to, because they're just like, let him live his life. He's a young man.
I was like, that's the other thing is like I wanted to make this odd character that's like, like how's this even going to work? But I also wanted to make sure that it was the most anti-troped parent backstory. So not only were both my parents alive, they're both legends.
Yeah.
It's like one of those ones. It's like I don't have a sob story from back home because I got everything I ever wanted, and my parents were lovely. Like it's.
Yeah, it's like, what was so hard about your life? Well, I had everything I ever wanted, and my parents never pushed me to do anything because they believed in whatever I wanted to do.
When they went away on adventures, they sent me to boarding school. It was some of the nicest you'll ever see, but still. No, I only had 2 bedrooms in my suite.
Dude. That's bloody amazing. Yeah. God. Oh, God. I want to see this character so much. I honestly, like, I'm really enjoying playing beside him. Like, it's one of those things, like, when everyone else is looking for danger, I love that, like, it's like, oh, I'm going to go into the mist. I'm going to do this. And you're like, I'm getting up on the horse because if something happens, I'm going the opposite way as fast as I can. I love that. I love that so much. It's honestly like it's been really fun to play against, and it was surprising when you said that you've DM'd this before because, I don't know if Christian's DM'd it or played it before, but the other night where he was like, "I've noticed the rooms are different sizes," I was like, "Oh, Whenever that happens in a campaign, I assume someone drew too many blocks."
I see. The funny thing about that is, in the exact same house with the party that I ran through.
Yeah.
I've got an architect and an engineer in my like friend group who we play with, and they're like, so something doesn't add up, but I don't know how to do this. And it was the exact same as what happened with Christian, and it's just like. Yeah, so I know there's something there because, like, I did this math, and like I'm just like,
dude,
I got to give it to him. Like, you can't not. Like, it's like yes, this is the like, it's not the character who knew this, it's the player, but like, that's like, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I've literally, like, when I played with Archie and that, I was playing with like 4 people that are all combat engineers in the army, so they're very practical people, but then also. One of them's a chemical engineer or a chemist. Another one's an electrician. Another one's a civil engineer. The other one's a mechanical engineer. So, like, the problems I was getting in game were like, I would like to take something sulfate, which comes from the something grinding mill, and I'm going to combine that with this. And the other guy's like, all right, I'm going to get a shield that slots down with rails, and I can attach it here. And then I'll do this. And basically, I want to be able to launch this thing like 600 yards. And then when it gets to this thing, this guy's going to make it explode with a radio. And I'm just like, all that happens, you kill the entire village of children. Playing with engineers is dangerous. It's
Yeah.
like you've seen the portable hole ejector, like the gun that fires the. So basically, it fires out and puts a portable hole through one of the other endless pouches or whatever, and creates a black hole.
Oh, really? No.
There's schematics on the internet on how to make it in D&D. It's an engineer. They were like, hey, let's screw up everyone's game by giving them these powers.
Yeah.
So I think you're lucky if you got away with them just noticing the squares difference. That's very good. That sounds like they're fun engineers that aren't trying to kill everyone.
You'd be surprised.
So that's a great answer, because that answers my concept question, because you actually work from the backstory to the character. 2024 rules. So far, I'm loving them. I actually really enjoy the exhaust rule. It's so much simpler than having to remember all the different levels. I love that we got to test it out so early, thanks to Grace and Gemma. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to... this is a quick question I've got around Bill, okay? So, we have established that Bill's morning mantra is doing a bit of Tai Chi.
Yeah. So I was actually I kind of rolled with it with what Grace said with calisthenics.
Yeah.
But that isn't ribbon twirling.
No, it's not.
I was right when in my head, and I just kind of rolled with it because I was like, yeah, cool, that's fun, whatever.
I think technically calisthenics is when you do workouts that don't involve weights. I think it's like when you use your own body weight.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I will say that what I did find out, this is what I mean. Like, Grace might be a secret genius. Like, we know she's smart, but secret genius, because she said ribbon twirling. The material for mage armor is a small strap of leather. So a small strap of leather on a stick getting twirled around is ribbon twirling.
Yeah.
So she might have been 3 steps ahead of us again. This is my secret conspiracy theory for the campaign. Grace is actually Strahd, and she tricked Sven into running this campaign. He has no idea. She's going to pop out and be like, "Rah!"
The ultimate death cleric.
Yeah. That would be fucking amazing, actually. Sven, please don't do that, because that'll make me question reality. But no, so...
Well, the thing with that's which is kind of going to take a next level now, because we got a next level. Because he still doesn't know about his spellcasting, he's been trying to do some complicated advanced moves with these calisthenics, and he's just never been able to properly get it. But because he was in the bar and he saw, maybe a little pick me up in the morning might be able to do it.
Yeah.
So before he starts the next day's Tai Chi, he's going to just have the smallest little shot of some grain alcohol.
Nice.
And he's going to do it all. And he's not only going to cast the one spell, he's going to be casting 2 spells on himself. So he's going to do his little bits of leather with his mage armor.
Yeah.
And then he's going to cast false life on himself, which is material components is a drop of alcohol.
Well done.
And that gets 2d4 plus 4 temporary hit points.
I love
So
that.
this is he's been trying to nail this extra move
Yeah.
for years, and it must be the mist in Barovia that just kind of loosened up the joints that little bit, and so he's able to get it in there.
He's got it
every
now.
morning he's gonna go bang bang 2 spells down. So
Well,
I only get 3 spell slots too.
are any of them rituals?
Neither of those 2, no.
Ah, damn. But mage armor is a ritual, isn't it? I swear. It used to be. Ugh,
It'd be nice if it was. It's not concentration, so that's good. I do have a ritual though. So I picked up 1 ritual spell, which was comprehend languages,
Yeah.
and I am going to treat that until he knows about spellcasting as this is some word form cipher, and he just thinks it's a puzzle. So he's going to jump down with a pen and paper rather than a pinch of soot and salt.
Yeah.
Like he's going to sit there and he's going to start and he's going to build out like the actual the decryptor. So he's able, and that's what's going to mean. That's how he's going to be able to like read and write like any languages that we come across.
Love it. This is really good. Like I just love the one thing that's always skipped over is the morning rituals. I've never played in a campaign where people did it, apart from in later levels, you've got the Heroes Feast breakfast.
Yeah.
And the thing they skip over in that is the cost. It's meant to be like 2,000 gold pieces, but we always just use bacon and eggs. Like it's meant to be like a sacred reliquary, but we were just like, bacon, eggs, and porridge. It's really good. You'll love it.
That's the Aussie Heroes Feast.
It's the Aussie Hero Feast. It counts. But no, so you've got these rituals that you're going to do. I've actually been wondering how you're going to make the leap. And you don't have to tell this. This is something you might have planned or it might happen in situ. In my head, if I was to roll a perception check, you know how I don't like to do rolls unless I know the answer, like comedy checks.
Yeah.
That was always going to be a funny pun. Wizards whining. But I was thinking if there's a hit where let's say your AC is 14 or 15 and the hit's 14, I'm like, that should have killed you. Can I roll a perception check to work out what the fuck just happened and why Bill didn't get stabbed with that sword? Because the gap between your regular armor class and the mage armor, but I wasn't going to push it. I just mean from my character's standpoint, will he catch a glimpse of something happening?
So why do I think that Sven would make it Arcana, not Perception?
Because I don't have the Arcana, so I was trying to slip it under the radar. You're sabotaging me.
The other thing is so AC isn't so much about a physical defense. It's also your ability to maneuver out of the way, having a high dex. So what you might see is one of those step back routines that he's doing, and it's normally it wouldn't have worked, but because he's got mage armor, it just gave him enough clearance because he's practiced that that move in his in the morning.
Yeah, well, what I'm picturing is I see you matrix out of the way of two arrows where it's 14 AC and you're 15. So you've matrixed out of the way. Yeah. And I'm like, hang on a second. Accountants don't move like that. But no, I'm not planning to do any of that stuff. I was just wondering how that would work from the outside looking at your character with mage armor. Will there be a glint of... Because I think Sven asked you that, how does it appear? Is there a actual flash of magic as it just misses you? Or is it something that it guides you in your dodge?
It doesn't say that there is any visual effect.
Oh, no, I'm saying, for you, the way you picture it. If you said there's visual effects, if you said there's none, there's none. It's...
I say there's none, because what I think it is it's just one of those... It's a coincidence that someone comes at me with a sword like that, and I go, hang on a minute, this morning I went like this.
Yeah.
And it's it's one of those ones that's remembering movement. Yeah.
I love that. This is going to be a weird one, okay? Because you've moved away from home and you've become an accountant.
Yeah.
Who or what does William care about the most? And you can't say Tane, because we're not at that stage yet. That would be weird.
So he does, although he's, doesn't like his his parents trying to force him to be an adventurer, his parents are still there. That's they are a person that's close to him.
They do seem cool.
Yeah. But he's he's a bit more of a married to the job sort of guy. He enjoys that. What I haven't fleshed out is any of his, and again, this is kind of a little bit deliberate, knowing that they don't really come up because of where we are.
Yeah.
But any of those bonds or anything like that, I haven't fleshed that out.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Well,
one thing that I do have proficiency in is a forgery kit, and I reckon there's a few backstories there that would flesh out those bonds, where there'd be the drinking buddies of 3 or 4 or whatever that he goes to the tavern with, and I think that's like the people his age, maybe one's a smith, one, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But and together they can
those
like
mates that get you into trouble. I know them.
Yeah, but they're also like the assets in a town that an adventuring party would leverage.
Yeah.
So like adventuring parties would come to us if they wanted, like, hey, could you get me a pass out of town, and like I could forge one up, and there's like, like in all those like different little like.
You were the fake ID guy. You were getting girls into clubs back when you were young.
Yeah, well, someone had to. Like,
yeah. And when I say clubs, I mean like the actual giant clubs, getting them put into a club. So before we go on, because I will ask questions about our campaign, I just wanted to get into Bill, but I won't ask about him becoming a sorcerer or realizing powers, because I'll let you do that in the moment, and we'll see that. But this is one that I don't know the answer to, and I would love to know the answer to, but feel free to just say it's a no-no zone and we won't talk about it. Does William secretly wish that he were more heroic like his parents, or is he genuinely happy being a accountant?
So he doesn't think the heroic gene landed on him. So, although, like, if he could, and it came to him, he would follow down that pathway.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think, like, there was no gods that spoke to him, like his mother being a cleric.
Yep.
And his father tried to force him to create his own spellbook when he was young, and it never worked. So they're the two like class pathways that he's been like pushed on, and neither of them worked for him, and he couldn't pick up anything. He's not a martial character. Like he's not able to swing swords or anything like that. So like he just thinks like as much as like in the world needs adventurers, but the world also needs accountants.
Yeah.
So he thinks that's his calling. So like if he turned around and was like, hey, which is probably going to happen. It's like, hey, I'm a level 3. Like, I actually kind of know a few things. What the hell? He's going to be happy about it. He's not going to be upset.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's kind of given up on pursuing any of that.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, I'll let that go. So, now we've got through that bit. I wanted to talk to you about one of the coolest thing I think in the campaign so far. We've arrived at a house. So, sorry, we did all the stuff at the pub, the tavern, which I talked about with Sven. So,
yep,
we got to meet everyone. We formed our little group. You've agreed to go and have a look at this guy's house, and everyone else is going to get rid of the ghosts. Awesome. We get to this house. You see someone in the top level and shadows moving. I see that as well. We go in and everyone just starts, as we're going up the level, robbing the house. What is going through Bill's head right now? Because it's one of those things. I was trying to work out what Bill, because I know Tane was like, yeah, thank you for the crossbow, and then puts it down and like walks out the room with them. Well, technically, he gave it to Grace and said happy birthday because she was saying she didn't get anything for her birthday. But that was kind of like a fourth wall moment. But the idea is Tane's just trying to get to the top of the house to meet the people, because it would be really goddamn weird walking in with like their life savings in their arms. What's Bill thinking as he goes through this house?
So, and I have a feeling that maybe Sven slipped up a little bit when he said it. But I swear when we were speaking to Aragorn that he said that we got to keep the house afterwards. And again, like I think it was either a slip up or a misspeak or something like that. So Bill's kind of latched onto that, saying in his head they don't want this house. So he's not really. He's not going to loot the place with the others.
Yeah.
But he's not against it because it's not like it was this person's possessions, because they haven't gone into the house. Like it's it is like well, they won't know what they won't know sort of thing. The thing that's got him a bit like on edge about it all is the fact that there is someone upstairs based on his, Tane and Bill's perceptions. So he's going to be even more. I think I'm going to be very similar to Tane until we confront what's upstairs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
Because if someone's home, and then especially if they say something like, "No, this house is ours," it's like, "Oh, what the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah,
yeah,
we're in the wrong house. That'd be so. I actually think one of the best comments in chat would be was like, "This would be the weirdest thing if they're in the wrong house," and then somebody else is like,
"The reverse Ghostbusters."
It's the reverse Ghostbusters, and then somebody was like, "What if they're the ghosts, knocking shit off the walls and opening stuff up? What if they're the..." And I was just like, "God damn, are we Nicole Kidman in The Others? That'd be the greatest turn of events ever. We're in there, and then this adventuring party comes in, and they're only doing half damage to us all for some reason because they don't have magical weapons."
I love it.
Yeah, it's not even an evil campaign. We're like a benevolent, not a benevolent evil. We're a neutral sort of evil campaign where we're just ghosts.
I have a feeling with Fujin we might be chaotic evil.
It is good, man. I'm loving the mix of characters. I see. I like there to be a good mix of people. I think at the moment we've kind of nailed it. Like, chemistry-wise, we've got like two sort of confident people, two kind of oddball people, two kind of withdrawn people, and we've got connections everywhere between the group. I think it's a good mix. Sven's done well. I still think the group would be better if you got rid of me and put Ali in. Ali is amazing. But then I wouldn't be in a game with Ali, so I would not give up my spot so she could go in just for everyone else's benefit. Screw that shit.
I think you're selling yourself a bit short there. Like, I don't think Bill's as good a character without Tane being there.
I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, I'm very happy we got to level 2 because I now have protection. Interception, where you can throw your shield up and reduce damage.
Yeah.
So I love that idea. So I'll be sticking with Bill and being like, "Go for it. You can do it." And then shit gets real. But no, so I'll start wrapping it up now, but I do want to sort of ask two last questions. One is, what is your favorite part of the campaign so far? And it could be just hanging in chat, talking shit before the thing, finding out everyone's deepest, darkest, irrational fears, or it could be something in-game that happened. If you had to think about it, what is your favorite moment of the stream so far? And I know it's early days, so this is probably the hardest question you'll get asked. But the ironic thing is, the question gets harder.
that reverse Ghostbusters thing was pretty damn good.
That was good.
I do have to admit. Because that had me laughing, and I'm just like, I'm trying to hold it back because it was chat too, so it's like not everyone, like it wasn't like everyone got it at the same time. So that was very good. I really like, and it's been like an unspoken thing between you and I, how I will always self-reference myself as Bill, and you will always say William.
Yes. Yeah, that's been very intentional for me. So I love that you felt the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, and it can't change. And like maybe like down the road I'm going to be William. Yeah. But right now it has to be exactly that.
I love it. That actually is one of my favorite parts of the whole thing. Like, and it's so clear. It comes out so clear. It's like when somebody's correcting someone and they keep going, "Yes, I hear you completely, William." It's like, no,
don't worry, I won't mess it up again, William. Don't worry about that.
No, I love that's awesome. And so going forward, this is the biggest question of the night. We just found a note, to my pathetic servant. The whole shindig about. Hang on, I'll actually bring it up here. I have it here. Most pathetic. I'm not a messiah. Blah blah blah. And it's a letter, and it's signed, "Your dreadlord and master, And I can actually do a screen share probably. Sorry about this. No, I'll just read it out. Your Dreadlord and Master, Strahd von Zarovich. So this was in a secret room. It's a skeleton half hanging out of a chest with 3 darts in the back of its neck holding onto this. My characters just read this and then we leveled up. So what I'm honestly trying to process, because I think Christian said when he'd played this campaign, he never came across this. I wonder if this is a big jigsaw piece that's going to be so narratively important. Because, like, the more I read this, the more, like, I think the name Mr. Durst is probably going to come up again. But, sired a bastard son. So there's a bastard son somewhere, like, from an illegitimate marriage. Dreadlord, that seems like important words. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure the only Dreadlord I'm aware of is in, like, Warhammer 40,000. I think the Dreadnoughts might have a lord somewhere, maybe. But no, like, I think this is a huge piece of lore. And this is just a little piece. I don't know if you came across this.
I have. I do know about it. One thing...
Because I don't want you to give it away if you know the answer.
Oh no! Like this is the thing with this stuff is I know the answer. As I said, I've run this, but there has been other clues that have been dropped.
Oh,
that I won't link because that's not fun for anyone. You're right in saying that there's a lot in here.
Yeah, I think Gemma actually
just if you think about in the totality of it, we all know that Strahd's in this campaign. Like that's a very he's on the front cover. Like we kind of know this, but the fact that this is signed by
heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. That's a spoiler of the what's his name? Not Tobey Maguire, the other Spider-Man. That Holland. Tom Holland?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's a Tom Holland style spoiler. Apparently Strahd is in the Curse of Strahd campaign. My gosh.
But so this is actually our first piece of evidence to say that Strahd is actually a thing.
Yeah.
So yes, this is a very important thing. Like it's like us as players know that. Us as characters is like, who the fuck's this Strahd guy? He kind of sounds like a dick, doesn't he?
Well, do you want to know what my first question is going to be next week? If I don't know if I'm about to get 3 darts in my neck. I don't know if it was a trap or something that I just did something because we leveled up as soon as I read it, and that's kind of where it ended. My first question is going to be hidden altar, dungeon. Like, is that referring to this house? Or is that somewhere else? I don't know. I'm loving this. Like, this is what when Sven was apologizing for having no fighting yet, I'm like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever... Sorry, I'm not sharing it. Let me just go window capture.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's okay to have no fighting if you have one of... the other pillars of D&D are there. And we've had roleplay. And one of the other ones that we always kind of because D&D is not really built for it too much, but it can be done very well, is mystery. And right now, we are wrapped deep in mystery, aren't we?
Yes, and I'm keen as mustard to get into, more into the mystery. I want to learn more. I want to enjoy every little bit of it. Because, it's not... I'm just going to turn it off. I don't care anymore. Turning it off. So, this mystery is what the whole Strahd thing is about. We are going to be diving deep into Strahd. Oh, God. I've never been so pumped. So, I don't know if I told you this, but I had given up hope in playing Strahd. I'd watched so many YouTube stuff, and I go, listen, guys, I'm going to turn, like, in Twitch, a lot of my friends would be streaming. I go, guys, just came to say, hey, hello, beautiful people. I support you. I'm going to log off because I can't take any spoilers in case I ever get to play it. And now I'm doing the thing, and I'm doing it with you, Dan, which is also very exciting. So I appreciate you being the, I guess you'd be the Chandler to my Joey. Would that be appropriate? Because he's like an accountant numbers guy.
It's funny that we at work we had a bit of just a couple of beers afterwards and did the would you rather's, and it's like, who do you think you are, like, from Friends?
Oh.
And I'm just like, everyone thinks they're a Joey and we're all just Chandlers, aren't we?
Dude, I think Chandler's the winner. Like, if I could pick any of them to be, I'd be picking Chandler.
Yeah.
Chandler's the funny guy with the hot wife. He's pretty much got everything going for him. Like, I've got the hot wife bit covered. I'll work on the humor. I can read a joke book. But no, man. So I think we've thoroughly debriefed Strahd and left him standing quite in the breeze. I do appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about William Irondancer. I am looking forward to finding out what magical items Sven gives me to hold on to give to you when you do discover your powers. Sven, make it good. I'm literally trying to think of a cool one. Dude, I think it should be something from your mother, something divine.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, so
That'd
as
be cool.
a sorcerer, I need a focus, and that's that crystal that we get from the weekend markets. So, like, it's already there, and I have taken as my human-based feature Magic Initiate Cleric, because
Nice.
I'm going to play it like she's going to be guiding me through it in a little way. So, like, yeah, that like from the mum would make sense based on, like, it's already kind of half set up.
No, perfect. Mate, that's going to be so good. Thank you once again for taking the time to come and debrief Strahd with me. Now, I worked on a catchphrase that eventually, when this is like bigger than the actual show itself, of drop 'em, like the guy in that little video where he tells Strahd to drop 'em. What do you think a good sign out is for debriefing of Strahd?
Ooh, good question. Like, yeah, you could do like a bit of a sentence outro, like now that everything's been thoroughly dropped.
Now that everything's been thoroughly dropped?
Or now or yeah, the next step's to pick it all up, so we'll have to do that next week.
Oh yeah, I like the drop thing, being like, now we've had a look what's under the hood. Let's get back on the road. No, that's horrible. We'll work on that.
We've checked under the robes and we're ready to go.
Okay, ready? You say that one. You sign us off. Ready? 3, 2, 1, action.
Now that we've checked under the robes, we're ready to go next week.
See you next week, Monday, 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time.